You're listening to Mix Off Air with Duffy Moon, Amber Kaye, Camper Kyle, and Kelsey Laurenz. And now, the Finer Things Club.
Yeah, so on the episodes of Finer Things, when you see it labeled Finer Things, on these we will be taste testing, preferably a beverage, and then talking, something intellectual.
Yes.
As intellectual as we can get.
We're pretty classy.
We're pretty clever people, I think.
Yeah, super classy and clever. And so... Kelsey's already eating.
Yeah.
So, this past weekend, I was going to a barbecue, and so I was going to take something to drink. And I normally drink stout beer. I love stout beer. But it was so hot outside, I was like, that seems kind of heavy. And so I was just perusing the drinks, and I came across this one, and it's from Still Bender Brewery.
Yeah, that's
Brew
actually
Yard.
up in Albuquerque, I believe.
Is it? Oh, I didn't realize this was even local. But it's called Raspberry Dynamite, a Napoleon-inspired kettle sour.
Yeah, check this out.
And it was really interesting. So I thought, I've tasted it, obviously, because I had it. And so I thought this would be a good one for y'all to taste because it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says, beer with a bang. Exploding from the tank, fantastically fruit forward. What? Smooth mouthfeel? Okay. So you want to just try it?
Well, hold on.
Okay.
And so we'll be taste testing. This is our first Finer Things Club.
Yes.
And so I was going to just explain real quick. So we'll taste test something and then talk about something. So we're going to taste test this. And then JJ from Apex just happened to show up a little while ago.
Yeah.
And he brought us donuts.
Shout out to JJ.
So we'll try not to smack into the microphone, but we're all really hungry. And then we are going to talk about psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists. And that came up because I was talking about book club, and Kelsey's like, do you read Gillian Flynn? And I was like, yeah, I've read a couple of her books.
Love her.
And so we started talking about Gillian Flynn, which led us to Kelsey seeing this documentary. And so then we decided to discuss that. So that will be the topic of conversation today.
So
hold
on to yourselves.
This Dynamite Napoleon-inspired kettle corn, it has in
kettle sour.
It's a red can, and it's got a picture of dynamite on it. And it says it has pure raspberry puree, milk, sugar, Magnum hops, I don't know the other stuff. But yeah, so raspberry puree and milk and sugar stuff.
Yeast.
Oh my gosh. I just opened it and smelled it. Wow.
Yeah, but so it's super sour.
You guys ready? I'm going to take a sip.
Yeah, you
want me to
taste it
start
and see
first?
what
Okay, so this is the Finer Things Club, and I'm sipping on this Raspberry Dynamite. Let me get this in the mic real good for you.
Oh, don't slurp it in the mic. Oh, I hate that sound.
Oh my goodness, what is that? Ooh.
No?
Oh!
Really? You
That
love
is weird. I love sour things, but this is weird. It's not even...
But watch, you'll keep drinking it. It's one of those... It's like a really hot sauce when something's hot and it's burning your mouth, but you can't stop.
No.
Like, this is sour and weird, but you'll just keep drinking it. And then after about 2 of them, then you'll really like them.
That's the limit. All right, I will go now.
What's the alcohol content
Built
on
to
this?
brew.
I don't know.
Go for it, Kelsey. Getting a good in there?
I like it.
Ew.
Yeah?
I really like it.
Because it's kind of like a mixed drink, not like a beer.
Yeah.
Huh?
Man, that is good.
Doesn't say what the alcohol content is. Amber, Kaye?
Yeah, it's so different.
I thought it would have more of a bitter aftertaste, and so that's what I was getting ready for and getting worried for.
Yeah, I do think it is.
Man, guys.
Bitter.
I do.
Kyle, no! No, sir.
It's carbonated. I can't hold back burps.
Yes, you can.
This is the Finer Things.
Turn your microphone off or something.
Finer.
That's disgusting.
You're okay.
So sociopaths, huh?
So we have one person who does not like it, one person who really does, and one person who kind of does.
Yep.
So if you like sour and you like raspberry,
This is
the beer for you.
and I'd say if you like a fruity type of drink but you don't want to drink liquor,
Yeah.
this would be like a good option.
It's really refreshing.
It's like a good summer drink.
I'll drink
Summer
the rest
beer.
of yours, Kyle, if you don't want yours.
No, I'll drink it all. I'll drink it all.
Lush
no
over here.
waster.
So we were talking about Gillian Flynn and her books and how they're like, they're pretty dark.
Very dark.
Are you okay, Kyle?
I'm doing good. No, keep talking.
Okay.
I'm good.
That
And
carbonation.
you brought up, so then we were talking just about the different documentaries.
Yes.
And you brought up one that you saw.
Yes. So the big thing about Gillian Flynn is that all of her like villains are super dark. They're a lot. And she uses a lot of different kind of like psychiatric diagnostics
for her plots.
Yes.
Well, when she did Gone Girl, people wanted a second one. They wanted a second Gone Girl. And she said, she's like, I don't know if I can return to that dark place I have to go to when I'm writing that.
Oh,
very
boy.
method.
Yeah.
So that's her writing. So that we just don't talk about sociopaths on our everyday
Quit drinking
things.
into the microphone.
So I was watching this YouTube video because we were trying to figure out different topics of the Finer Things Club, classy. And of course, I love
Psychopaths. I mean, being classy, you think psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, this one just like is really interesting because it just kind of like maps everything out for you and has different kind of definitions for everything. So, the first thing that the guy is interviewing a psychiatrist, and she says the first thing that you have to know is that
I'm just going to ask that you move your can to the right.
yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It is
There's
right
a
by all
lot
the,
that can go wrong.
buttons right there. So there we go. Okay, continue.
All right, one drink and look at me go.
It doesn't mean one drink. She means like one sip.
Yeah, there you go. Literally just a gulp. So she says, to begin with this topic, she says, one thing that you have to remember is that every psychopath and sociopath is a narcissist, but not every narcissist is a psychopath.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't quite understand that. Like I knew, like, especially because there's so many different Netflix originals about like that Ted Bundy with Zac Efron. Really, really good show. Because you're seeing it from her point of view, but I love stuff like that. It really, it's cool.
It's very intriguing.
Yeah. Would not like it as a career, but
No?
no. But so she says like narcissists, the definition, like you're very self-centered, you're always looking for that reinforcement, just kind of like making sure that everyone knows you're here. Like if you don't know what a narcissist is, that's what it is. But the difference between a psychopath and a narcissist is that a narcissist will still feel empathy.
Right.
So when they're doing something bad or something that like is guilty, they will feel bad about it.
Yeah, they still have feelings. It's just they really like themselves.
Yeah. And so a psychopath and a sociopath, well, let's start with the psychopath.
Wait, do we have that music that from Psychopath? The
No.
So I just got to do. Okay, go. No,
Just keep doing it in the background.
Yeah.
All right. So a psychopath, they have all of the characteristics of a narcissist, where they are self-centered. They that definition, but they have no remorse whatsoever. And the psychiatrist,
they don't even have like emotion.
no,
right?
No,
Right.
exactly.
Like they don't have the ability. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what they are not capable.
What he said.
But yeah, basically, like, yeah, they do not have the ability to do it. And the psychiatrist, and I wish I could remember her name, I think it was like Dr. Ramini, I don't know, but she was saying how like they did this fascinating study.
I'm gonna have to ask you to move that can over again.
Oh yeah, man, that keeps on sneaking up. Wow.
It's like right there.
Just keeps on finding my, like, oh, it's looking at me, it's watching me. But yeah, she was saying how they did like this fantastic study about like the different kinds of emotions of someone that's going through a narcissist personality disorder.
Ugh.
I know.
It was complicated.
Exactly. And a psychopath where they had the same kind of behavior. However, they could see with the brain activity that there was no emotion in like the cerebral cortex. And so, see, I don't listen to the mumbo jumbo. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was saying how they're essentially everyone is like that or could be a psychopath if you're a narcissist, but you're not.
Right.
You know?
I saw a thing or read a thing, or I don't know where I got this. Maybe I made it up. But they said that a child, if at around the age 2 is separated from their primary caregiver, that as a sort of self-preservation, they turn off emotion, and that a lot of these serial killers, if you look back around the time they were 2, like their mother died or they were, you know, given away or something, but as something around that age, they just shut that off. And so that's why they don't have emotion. And
Amber and I did not plan this, but that actually brings up the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath. A psychopath is someone that cannot, like, they both cannot feel remorse or anything, but a psychopath,
sympathy.
Yes, perfect. Sorry, that's what I kept on trying to say. But a psychopath is born like that. Like where that's just how they are. It's like a net.
You mean a sociopath is born like that?
No, a sociopath goes through these traumas, or if they're around that kind of lifestyle.
So a psychopath is born, a sociopath is created.
Boom.
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 Got it.
Thank you, Kyle, for the input.
But yeah, I was like, wow, interesting. Because for a second, I really was kind of scared that I might be a psychopath.
But instead, you're a sociopath.
You know, I actually have experience.
Or a narcissist.
Which one is born?
Psychopath.
I have an experience with a psychopath because I knew of 2 people who were siblings, essentially. And one of them grew up to be completely normal.
Is
and
it
the other
you
one,
and your brother?
No.
They were blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah. Perfect little babies, and one was crazy. No, this was like a friend of mine back from high school or whatever, and he grew up just fine. His sibling was, I mean, my God, you couldn't. I mean, he had to like put I don't want to say institutionalized, but my goodness, like he was born like that. Because they were raised the same way,
right?
So there was no like caregiver going away, and this guy ended up just being completely just out there, and like psycho. Yeah, so that's
pretty
interesting.
Crazy. Yeah, it's super interesting.
I knew someone who I diagnosed them as a narcissist. This was a teacher I once had that I think Kelsey probably knows who I'm referring to. And this teacher, oh my gosh, it was the oddest personality to be around because so they're trying to teach you about a subject, right?
Yeah.
They would talk about themselves and everything that they had done and accomplished and how they was so great. And then this happened and like... Not the class. Like just themselves. Like I was doing this and then, you know, and I was able to do this and just, and everyone's sitting there. No one's asking questions. No one's prompting it. No one acts interested, but they just keep going and going. Every class.
Yeah.
Like I knew more about that person by the end than I knew about like friends or anybody because it's like they think it's a really weird way of thinking. And people use that word flippantly, narcissist.
Yeah.
But when you're actually around someone, you can't make sense of their behavior, and you can't communicate. Like you think you're communicating with them, but then all of a sudden it's like everything goes out the window because their way they think is so different.
Yeah, I honestly just thought it was like one of those things, like, oh my God, this chick
like
again,
like a conceited person.
Yeah, just
but
such
it's weird.
It is
it's
like
weird.
I never really thought of narcissism as a personality disorder until watching those YouTube videos.
Be around someone or see it to realize it's very
because there's nothing wrong in their eyes with the way that they're portraying conversation. Like it's totally normal. I just want to,
and there's no reasoning with them because they don't see that anybody else's opinion or anything is relevant. Really.
And then
it's very weird.
Then when they kill you, you're like, oh, misdiagnosed.
Like, that makes sense.
Yeah. You were a psychology major for a good semester,
right? For a good solid semester, yeah.
And you're always throwing out your wisdom at me and your psychology theories and trying to tell me things. So what do you have to say about all this in your expertise?
Ooh,
Look, I'm actually asking you. I always tell you to shut up when you start talking about psychology,
right.
and I'm actually
do you really want my
asking
opinion? Because I have
Yes.
a cool. Okay, so there is a field of psychology, and this is actually very well documented and researched. That if you don't, and this goes back to which one wasn't born? Sociopaths. Sociopaths are created, right?
Correct.
All right, so there's a line of research that says basically if you're not socialized, which means if you don't know how to act around other people,
Oh, like you.
kind of. No.
I'm talking about him.
No. Look, I was socialized. And, look, I was socialized, and then I went to homeschool.
Oh,
okay, so then I got unsocialized.
gotcha.
So
My
but-
nephew might be a psychopath.
So if you're not socialized by the age of 4 years old, there's like no helping you basically, because by the time you're 4, you have created a lot of part of your brain, the way it acts and the way it emotes with people, and the way you perceive information from people's body language and stuff like that. That if you're not, so basically if you don't teach a kid how to play games with other kids, if you don't teach a kid how to lose or win with like grace around other kids, and if you don't teach a kid how to play the game of life or the games that is life,
The social
I
standards.
call that
and-
Right.
I call that only child syndrome.
Hey!
Oh, sorry.
yeah, she's an only no, but it's not even an only child. No, because
Oh wait, what? Did I say that out loud?
And
it's the drink. It's getting it. It's just a truth elixir.
but the whole thing is you can be an only child and you'll just be just fine. But if your parents
Yeah,
neglect,
Kelsey.
if your parents or whatever guardian neglects to kind of show you how you should act, and they just kind of let you go, you're gone.
Oh, like the feral children.
I don't know what that is.
You've never seen stuff on feral children?
No.
Oh, you should look it up. So it's
Like FERAL, feral?
like how you have a feral cat.
Oh wow, no, yeah, I've never
so
heard of
there's
this.
children that get abandoned.
Yeah.
Or they're kept like locked away and they're not around
Yes.
humans.
And
Yes.
then
And they get found and they're feral. They're
Yep.
like wild.
Yep.
no, dude, I saw a movie
Yep.
like that, and then this dragon Pete came and helped
What?
and raised him.
I've seen that.
Is that? Oh,
But yeah.
Is it Puff
I thought
the
it was a
Magic?
documentary.
No, that's Pete's dragon.
Like Puff the Magic Dragon?
No,
Live by the
it's
sea?
It's Pete's dragon.
Oh,
Okay.
the dragon's not called
but,
Pete. Oh.
And that's different because that child in Pete's dragon, he was like 5 or 6 when he got left in the forest.
But-
But no, there's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's you look up some stuff. There's
will.
like real footage of psychologists studying
Right.
feral children, and I mean it's a horrible thing. But yeah, I mean you could really take a kid and mess them up.
Yes, but you no,
Can
really
do
Yeah.
some damage.
You really, I mean, but I know you've met some of these kids who are just brats. I mean, they are just like, you don't imagine how, like, so I knew a
what
kid.
I don't imagine is how he or she grew up without getting their butts kicked on
Yep.
the playground,
well,
man.
they end up being the butt kickers sometimes.
Wow.
And I've met a kid like this. So I was working on a project outside when I was growing up. I was a young teenager, and this kid like shows up with his other friends, and his other friends seemed mostly fine, but this kid walked over the project I was working on, stole like a piece of. I know this sounds real dorky now that I'm saying it, but like
This kid!
like I just kind of laughed because I was actually more amazed by the way he was acting. I wasn't offended because I was a tough kid. I didn't care, but I was
So
just
this is the nerd that Kyle is. So he got bullied as a child, and so
I did.
Instead of like learning to fight or like just being upset by it, he went and went inside and looked up psychology and figured out. And
he was
then
like, "Oh,
did you tell?
that's why Billy
No.
did that."
No,
Did you tell that kid? You know why you're doing that because by the age of 4, your parents didn't socialize you correctly.
If I had that knowledge, I would have said that. No, because I was never.
You're never gonna be normal.
I was never like a stocky built kid, and so if I was ever
Yeah.
messed around with, I would talk my way out of it instead of fight my way out of it.
Oh yeah, I would talk myself into so many fights and then
And
talk
that.
myself back out.
Back
of
out.
them.
Yeah.
I would do that recently, and like I was way too old to be talking into fights. But then my sister,
I still do it. It's
Will Simone, shout out. She's like 2 years younger than me, but she should have probably been the older one. But I'll be like, yeah. Well, Sim will take care of you. And she's like, Kelsey, stop. Like, get him, Sim. Fight them.
Look at what a good older sister you are. Too bad you're
I was
not an only
socializing her.
child and you could have just been a psychopath and handled it yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
Kelsey.
you're stronger for it.
All right, so beer. Now that you've had time to drink it a little bit more.
Yes, I've had my
we know
whole
Kelsey
can.
likes it. Kyle poured his in a glass and added sugar.
Yes, that rounds it off very nice. No. That rounds it off very nicely.
Yeah,
It's
And
actually
like I said,
drinkable.
the more I drink, the more I like it. So
And it's rather early in the morning, and so I'm not going to lie. That one beer is doing things. You know, it's like
it's doing funny things.
doing funny things.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. So is that you want that to be our Finer Things Club right there?
Yeah.
That
All
is
right.
the finer things.
So if you're listening, if you've noticed, we do things a little bit different. Finer things, random conversation,
Yeah.
Dear Diary, kind of personal. There's different things. Private messages, let us know
Yeah.
what you want to hear more of, less of, not at all of,
Stop doing that.
constantly, whatever. And
Yep.
we will try to appease your needs.
Yes, absolutely. So until next time.
See ya.